Donda is the 10th studio album by American rapper Kanye West, released through Good Music on August 29, 2021, with distribution handled by Def Jam Recordings, his last release with the label. West recorded much of the material at multiple locations in the summer of 2021, including Bighorn Mountain Ranch in Wyoming and Mercedes Stadium in Atlanta. It features guest vocals from the Sunday Service Choir, Jay-Z, Playboi Carti, Lil Baby, The Weeknd, Vori, Kid Cudi, DaBaby, Baby Keem, and Marilyn Manson, among various others. Vocals from Chris Brown were also included prior to the album being updated. West, Buxta Beast, Dem Joints, Mike Dean, and Aja Volta primarily helmed its production. The initial version of Donda was initially set for release in July 2020, under the title of God's Country, but experienced multiple delays and continuous alterations to tracks and the track list prior to its final release. The album's style has been described variously as hip-hop, gospel, progressive rap, and pop, and incorporates elements of trap and drill. It is both minimalist and maximalist, with darker lyrical content and the reduced use of drums in comparison to West's prior efforts. Themes explored include religion, Kanye's divorce from Kim Kardashian, and his mother Donda West, the album's namesake whom the release is dedicated to. Upon its release, Kanye West accused Universal Music Group of having released Donda without his approval, which the label denied. Hurricane was released as the lead single in September 2021, and was followed by both Believe What I Say and Off the Grid in November. The album polarized music critics, particularly for its cohesiveness. Some noted an improvement from West's previous work and praised the composition, though numerous reviewers criticized the long runtime. Regardless, Donda was named by several publications as one of the best albums of 2021, and became a nominee for both Album of the Year and Best Rap Album at the 64th Grammy Awards, while Jail and Hurricane both won for Best Rap Song and Best Melodic Rap Performance, respectively. Donda initially scored the most first-day streams for an album in 2021 on both Apple Music and Spotify. It stood as West's 10th consecutive chart topper on the US Billboard 200, tying the record set by Eminem. It reached the summit in 18 other regions, including Australia, France, and United Kingdom, becoming West's first #1 album in the second country. The album has been certified platinum in the United States by the Recording Industry Association of America, alongside being awarded the certification and a gold one in Canada and New Zealand by Music Canada and Recorded Music NZ, respectively. The appearances from DaBaby and Marilyn Manson created controversy amongst audiences as a result of their separate allegations of homophobia and sexual abuse. In October 2021, the STEM player was issued, allowing users to remix the songs and adding new ones, while a deluxe edition was released on November 14. Early life. West was born on June 8, 1977, in Atlanta, Georgia. After his parents divorced when he was 3 years old, he moved with his mother to Chicago, Illinois. His father, Ray West, is a former Black Panther and was one of the first black photojournalists at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Ray later became a Christian counselor, and in 2006, opened the Good Water Store and Cafe in Lexington Park, Maryland, with startup capital from his son. West's mother, Donda C. West, was a professor of English at Clark Atlanta University and the chair of the English department at Chicago State University before retiring to serve as his manager. West was raised in a middle-class environment, attending Polaris School for Individual Education in suburban Oak Lawn, Illinois, after living in Chicago. At the age of 10, West moved with his mother to Nanjing, China, where she was teaching at Nanjing University as a Fulbright scholar. According to his mother, West was the only foreigner in his class, but settled in well and quickly picked up the language, although he has since forgotten most of it. When asked about his grades in high school, West replied, "I got A's and B's." West demonstrated an affinity for the arts at an early age. He began writing poetry when he was 5 years old. His mother recalled that she first took notice of West's passion for drawing and music when he was in the 3rd grade. West started rapping in the 3rd grade and began making musical compositions in the 7th grade, eventually selling them to other artists. At age 13, West wrote a rap song called Green Eggs and Ham and persuaded his mother to pay for time in a recording studio. Accompanying him to the studio, and despite discovering that it was a little basement studio where a microphone hung from the ceiling by a wire clothes hanger, West's mother nonetheless supported and encouraged him. West crossed paths with producer/DJ No ID, with whom he quickly formed a close friendship. No ID soon became West's mentor, and it was from him that West learned how to sample and program beats after he received his first sampler at age 15. 557 After graduating from high school, West received a scholarship to attend Chicago's American Academy of Art in 1997 and began taking painting classes. Shortly after, he transferred to Chicago State University to study English. He soon realized that his busy class schedule was detrimental to his musical work, and at 20 he dropped out of college to pursue his musical dreams. This greatly displeased his mother, who was also a professor at the university. She later commented, "It was drummed into my head that college is the ticket to a good life, but some career goals don't require college." For Kanye to make an album called College Dropout, it was more about having the guts to embrace who you are, rather than following the path society has carved out for you. 558. Musical career. 1996–2002, early work in Roc-A-Fella. Kanye West began his early production career in the mid-1990s, creating beats primarily for burgeoning local artists around his area, eventually developing a style that involved speeding up vocal samples from classic soul records. His first official production credits came at the age of 19 when he produced 8 tracks on Down to Earth, the 1996 debut album of a Chicago rapper named Grav. For a time, West acted as a ghost producer for Derek D. Angeletti. Because of his association with D. West was not able to release a solo album, so he formed and became a member and producer of the Go-Getters, a late 1990s Chicago rap group composed of him, GLC, Timmy G, Really Doe, and Aerostar. His group was managed by John Monopoly, Don Crowley, and Happy Lewis under the management firm Hustle. After attending a series of promotional photo shoots and making some radio appearances, the Go-Getters released their first and only studio album World Record Holders in 1999. The album featured other Chicago-based rappers such as Remefest, Mikey Halstead, Miss Chris, and Shayla G. Meanwhile, the production was handled by West, Aerostar, Boogs, and Brian All Day Miller. In 1998, West was the first person signed by G. Roberson and Kayombo Hip Hop Joshua To to management production company Hip Hop since 1978. West spent much of the late 1990s producing records for a number of well-known artists and music groups. The third track on Foxy Brown's second studio album China Doll was produced by West. Her second effort subsequently became the first hip-hop album by a female rapper to debut at the top of the U.S. Billboard 200 chart in its first week of release. West produced 3 of the tracks on Harlem World's first and only album The Movement alongside Jermaine Dupri and the production duo Track Masters. His songs featured rappers Nas, Drag On, and R&B singer Carl Thomas. The 9th track from World Party, the last Goody Mob album to feature the rap group's 4 founding members prior to their breakup, was produced by West with his manager Derek D. Angeletti. At the close of the millennium, West produced 6 songs for Tell 'Em Why You Mad, an album that was released by D. under the alias of The Mad Rapper, West's songs featured guest appearances from rappers such as Ma Dollar, Raekwon, and Eminem. West got his big break in the year 2000, when he began to produce for artists on Roc-A-Fella. West came to achieve recognition and is often credited with revitalizing Jay-Z's career with his contributions to Jay-Z's 2001 album The Blueprint. The Blueprint is consistently ranked among the greatest hip-hop albums, and the critical and financial success of the album generated substantial interest in West as a producer. Serving as an in-house producer for Roc-A-Fella, West produced music for other artists on the label, including Beanie Sigel, Freeway, and Cameron. He also crafted hit songs for Ludacris, Alicia Keys, and Janet Jackson. Despite his success as a producer, West's true aspiration was to be a rapper. Though he had developed his rapping long before he began producing, it was often a challenge for West to be accepted as a rapper, and he struggled to attain a record deal. Multiple record companies ignored him because he did not portray the gangsta image prominent in mainstream hip-hop at the time. 556 After a series of meetings with Capitol, West was ultimately denied an artist deal. According to Capitol's A&R, Joe Weinberger, he was approached by West and almost signed a deal with him, but another person in Capitol convinced Capitol's president not to. Desperate to keep West from defecting to another label, then label head Damon Dash reluctantly signed West to Roc-A-Fella. Jay-Z later admitted that Roc-A-Fella was initially reluctant to support West as a rapper, claiming that many saw him as a producer first and foremost and that his background contrasted with that of his label mates. 556 West's breakthrough came a year later on October 23, 2002, when, while driving home from a California recording studio after working late, he fell asleep at the wheel, causing a head-on crash with another car. The crash left him with a shattered jaw, which had to be wired shut in reconstructive surgery. The crash broke both legs of the other driver. The accident inspired West. 2 weeks after being admitted to the hospital, he recorded a song at the Record Plant Studios with his jaw still wired shut. The composition, Through the Wire, expressed West's experience after the accident, and helped lay the foundation for his debut album, as according to West all the better artists have expressed what they were going through. West added that the album was my medicine, as working on the record distracted him from the pain. Through the Wire was first available on West's Get Well Soon mixtape, released December 2002. At the same time, West announced that he was working on an album called The College Dropout, whose overall theme was to make your own decisions. Don't let society tell you, this is what you have to do. 2003-2006, The College Dropout / I and I Late Registration / I. None. 2007-2009, I Graduation / I 808s and Heartbreak / I, and VMA's Controversy. None. 2010, I My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy / I. None. 2011-2012, I Watch the Throne / I and I Cruel Summer / I. None. 2013-2015, I Yeezus / I and Adidas Collaboration. None. 2016-2017, I The Life of Pablo / I and Tour Cancellation. None. 2017-2019, I Yes / I and the Wyoming Sessions. None. 2019-present, I Jesus is King / I Donda / I, and I Donda 2 / I. None. Musical style. General. West's musical career is defined by frequent stylistic shifts and different musical approaches. In the subsequent years since his debut, West has both musically and lyrically taken an increasingly experimental approach to crafting progressive hip-hop music while maintaining accessible pop sensibilities. He has introduced new musical elements and unconventional reference points into his sonic palette with each album. Over time, West has explored a variety of music genres encompassing soul, baroque pop, stadium rock, electro, house music, indie rock, synth pop, progressive rock, industrial, punk and gospel. West's approach to record production is consistently rich, nuanced and thought-provoking. His productions are akin to musical compositions, bearing an ornate style with more depth typical of hip-hop artists while making use of an ear for hooks. He incorporates live instruments, manipulated vocal samples and dramatic arrangements to supplement his beats. His later musical works increasingly relied on the application of digital audio workstations and computerized synths, bass, and drums. West also surveys and analyzes lyrical trends in the continuously evolving landscape of hip-hop culture, often changing his approach to rhyming couplets for his songwriter and delivery. Lyrically, West's wordplay generally contains a proliferation of puns and inventive, multisyllabic rhymes. Both his songwriter and vocal delivery rely on lines laden with transformative and slant rhymes, with West often altering the pronunciation of his words. West admits his rapping ability is not as dexterous as peers Jay-Z, Eminem, and Nas, so he compensates with the subject matter. He elaborates, the songs offer melody and message. That's the main goal. I saw it as a simple math project. If I can rap 70 to 80% as good as the beats are, I'll be successful. West drew influence from mainstream rappers such as Maze and his Rock A fellow label mates Jay-Z and Cameron in conjunction with underground hip-hop artists like Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and Dead Prez. Kanye stated that Dead Prez in particular helped him discover a style of making raps with a message sound cool. With his debut album, West managed to strike a balance between smart and savvy rap lyrical themes. As his songwriter injects pop melodies into raw hip-hop beats, West's lyrics find him rapping about substantial issues in addition to amusing topics ranging from Jesus to weight loss in a way that resulted in widespread commercial appeal. They successfully struck a chord with both mainstream hip-hop audience as well as its alternative sector. His rhymes have been described as funny, provocative, and articulate, capable of seamlessly segueing from shrewd commentary to comical braggadocio to introspective sensitivity. West imparts that he's conscious of the circumstances of his surroundings and strives to speak in an inclusive manner so groups from different racial and gender backgrounds can comprehend his lyrics, saying he desired to sound just as ill as Jadakiss and just as understandable as Will Smith. Asked about his early musical inspirations in 2008, he named artists such as A Tribe Called Quest, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, George Michael, LL Cool J, Phil Collins, and Madonna. Regarding the influence of A Tribe Called Quest producer Q-Tip, West stated, Midnight Marauders, Electric Relaxation, Low-End Theory. A lot of the melodies and the type of chords they would sample, was what I was going for when I did The College Dropout. When I felt like I was at my highest level was when I was closest to a Tribe record. So, a record like Heard 'Em Say was an accomplishment for me to even have something that was close to what they did. Other musicians West has invoked as general inspirations include David Bowie, Miles Davis, and Gil Scott-Heron. West was formatively mentored by Chicago producer No ID, who introduced him to record production in the early 1990s, allowing a teenage West to sit in on recording sessions. West has cited Wu-Tang Clan producer and leader RZA as a prominent influence on his style. He stated, Me and my friends talk about this all the time. We think Wu-Tang had one of the biggest impacts as far as a movement. From slang to style of dress, skits, the samples. Similar to the style I use, RZA has been doing that. On his behalf, RZA has responded favorably to comparisons between him and West. He said, All good. Kanye West, I got super respect for Kanye. He came up to me about a year or two ago. He gave me mad praising and blessings. He had a lot to say about things I did. It's like when I met Isaac Hayes. West's early sound was largely influenced by 1990s hip-hop music, particularly that of the East Coast. Despite hailing from Chicago, West expressed a preference for New York artists, tailoring both his lyricism and fashion sense after rappers such as Raekwon and Nas. He recalled, "I used to love people like Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, and Nas, people that sold records. I liked Common, OK, you know, since he was from Chicago, but I wanted to dress like Nas." Regarding production, according to No ID, who mentored him from age 14, West made puffy-style poppyish beats. Sharing similar sentiments, West's close friend and collaborator singer-songwriter and musician John Legend once described him as the sing-songy rapper/producer with the overtly pop sensibility. West also claims that he used to make beats reminiscent of Timbaland and DJ Premier. Alongside DJ Premier, the soulful nature of his early production bears an influence of Prince Paul, while the slightly off-kilter drum machine beats he crafted for tracks reflect J Dilla. While speaking on the late producer, West praised Dilla's ability concerning drums. He asserted, "That man was a genius. Whatever he could do to tweak that MPC the way he worked it in a different type of way." West subsequently developed a hip-hop production style driven by melodic and rhythmic hooks derived from samples of classic soul records. He would take cues from the traditional sounds of early 1990s New York City hip-hop, with an emphasis on infectious loop samples and dense drums or percussion, and channel the aesthetic through contemporary record production while polishing it to a pop sheen. 1990s-2000s. Early in his career, West pioneered a style of hip-hop production dubbed chipmunk soul. His method of sampling technique is reminiscent of record production from the 1990s, involving the manipulation of tempo in order to chop and stretch pitched-up samples from vintage soul songs. According to mixing engineer Craig Bauer, the co-owner of Hinge Studios, a downtown Chicago recording and mixing facility where West has been a client, he knew what he wanted, and he was always striving to make his beats sound like no one else's. He would lift samples and manipulate them, twist them around, turn them up an octave until he got something fresh out of something that was made 20 or 30 years ago. He never wanted to be like someone else. This is typically done on an Akai MPC or an Ensoniq ASR10 and combined with his own instrumentation. Prior to his first studio album, West worked closely and collaborated with music star John Legend on his mixtape Get Well Soon. West further developed his style on his debut studio album, The College Dropout. On the album, West formed the constitutive elements of his style: intricate hip-hop beats, topical subject matter, and clumsy rapping laced with inventive wordplay. After a rough version was leaked, West meticulously refined the production, adding string arrangements, gospel choirs, and improved drum programming. Alongside soul samples, the record was characterized by its relatable lyrics. West drew from his own experiences after leaving college to pursue music and recovering from a near-fatal car accident. The record saw West diverge from the then-dominant gangster persona in hip-hop in favor of more diverse, topical lyrical subjects. His songs found him rapping about higher education, materialism, self-consciousness, minimum wage labor, institutional prejudice, class struggle, family, sexuality, and his own self-doubts and personal struggles in the music industry in a manner particular to his middle-class upbringing. West progressed forward towards more musically adventurous, maximalistic production on his subsequent albums, beginning with his sophomore effort, Late Registration. For his second album, West collaborated with film score composer John Bryan and drew influence from diverse influences such as English trip-hop group Portishead. Blending West's primary soulful hip-hop production with Bryan's elaborate chamber pop orchestration, the album experimentally incorporated a wide array of different genres and prominent orchestral elements, including string arrangements, piano chords, brass flecks, and horn riffs, amid a myriad of foreign and vintage instruments. Critic Robert Christgau wrote that there's never been hip-hop so complex and subtle musically. In addition, West's flow improved since his debut album. He became more adept at syncing his phrases up with beats instead of merely coasting over them to deliver punch lines. With his lyrics, West displayed an aptitude for personalizing what would otherwise be political, dwelling on matters close to heart. On his third album, Graduation, West moved towards an atmospheric soundscape influenced by rock music, electronics, and Europop, with all three influences on display in the album's breakout single Stronger, which prominently features Daft Punk's Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. West retracted much of the soulful sampling and rich live instrumentation that characterized his previous albums and replaced them with loud, gothic synthesizers. He incorporated layers of distorted synth chords, house beats, electro-disco rhythms, and a wide array of modulated electronic noises and digital audio effects into his hip-hop production. West was primarily influenced by arena rock bands such as the Rolling Stones, U2 and Led Zeppelin. Drawing from his experiences on stadium tours, West progressed to a more anthemic style of composing rap songs that would function well when performing in large arenas. He also drew musical inspiration from European Britpop and Eurodisco, American alternative and indie rock, and his native Chicago house. Lyrically, Graduation is more introspective in comparison to predecessors. West dedicated much of his songwriting towards providing inspirational messages directed at individuals while exploring personal issues surrounding his own fame and media scrutiny. West's fourth studio album, 808's and Heartbreak, marked a radical departure from his previous releases. He largely abandoned rapping over hip-hop beats in favor of emotive, melodic singing within a stark synth-driven electropop soundscape. West stripped away samples and relied almost entirely on droning synthesizers as instruments while singing with the use of auto-tune. Throughout the album, he juxtaposes the electronic feel generated by auto-tune and distorted Roland TR-808 drum machine with lengthy strings, somber piano, and tribal rhythms. Impacted by the death of his mother, Donda West, as well as the broken engagement from his fiancée, designer Alexis Pfeiffer, he wrote more sensitive pop songs about love and relationships. West was inspired to sing thanks to words of encouragement from famed pop artist Michael Jackson. Prior to its release, West also cited inspiration from 1980s synth-pop artists such as Phil Collins, Gary Newman, and Boy George, and confessed an affinity with the work of post-punk and new wave groups such as Joy Division, The Police and T.J. Swan. He would later describe 808's and Heartbreak as the first black new wave album. Discussing the album's subsequent influence on popular music, journalist Matthew Trammell for Rolling Stone described 808's as Kanye's most vulnerable work, and perhaps his most brilliant. 2010s. West recorded his fifth album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, with a wide range of collaborators. The album engages with themes of excess, celebrity, and decadence, has been noted by writers for its maximalist aesthetic and its incorporation of elements from West's previous four albums. Entertainment Weekly's Simon Vosek-Levinson noted that such elements all recur at various points, namely the luxurious soul of 2004's The College Dropout, the symphonic pomp of Late Registration, the gloss of 2007's Graduation, and the emotionally exhausted electro of 2008's 808's and Heartbreak. In a positive review, Andy Gill of The Independent called it one of pop's gaudiest, most grandiose efforts of recent years, a no-holds-barred musical extravaganza in which any notion of good taste is abandoned at the door. Describing his sixth studio album Yeezus as a protest to music, West embraced an abrasive style that incorporated a variety of unconventional influences. Music critic Greg Kot described it as a hostile, abrasive, and intentionally off-putting album that combines the worlds of 1980s acid house and contemporary Chicago drill music, 1990s industrial music, and the avant-rap of Saul Williams, Death Grips and Odd Future. The album also incorporates elements of trap music, as well as dancehall, punk, and electro. Inspired by the minimalist design of Le Corbusier and primarily electronic in nature, Yeezus also continues West's practice of eclectic and unusual samples. Rolling Stone called the album a brilliant, obsessive-compulsive career autocorrect. West's seventh album The Life of Pablo was noted for its raw, occasionally even intentionally messy, composition in distinction to West's previous album. Rolling Stone wrote that it's designed to sound like a work in progress. Carl Wilson of Slate characterized the album as creating strange links between Kanye's many iterations soul sample enthusiast, heartbroken auto-tune crooner, hedonistic avant-pop composer, industrial rap shit talker. West initially characterized the release as a gospel album. Greg Kot of the Chicago Tribune wrote in his review of The Life of Pablo, West's version of gospel touches on some of those sonic cues, heavy organ, soaring choirs, but seems more preoccupied with gospel text and the notion of redemption. Other ventures. Fashion. Early in his career, West made clear his interest in fashion and desire to work in the clothing design industry. In September 2005, West announced that he would release his pastel clothing line in spring 2006, claiming, "Now that I have a Grammy under my belt and late registration is finished, I am ready to launch my clothing line next spring." The line was developed over the following 4 years with multiple pieces teased by West himself before the line was ultimately cancelled in 2009. January 2007 saw the release of West's first sneaker collaborations, a special edition Baptista from A Bathing Ape. Unlike subsequent CO-branded releases in which West created an entirely new silhouette from the ground up, this joint venture utilized an existing model. The design featured the Dropout bear mascot from The College Dropout, on the heel, as well as using the brown, orange, and tan color scheme that appeared on the cover of the aforementioned album. In 2009, West collaborated with Nike to release his own shoe, the Air Yeezys, with a second version released in 2012. He became the first non-athlete to be given a shoe deal with Nike. In January 2009, he introduced his first shoe line designed for Louis Vuitton during Paris Fashion Week. The line was released in summer 2009. West has additionally designed shoewear for Italian shoemaker Giuseppe Zanotti. In fall 2009, West moved to Rome and did an internship at Italian fashion brand Fendi, where he gave ideas for the men's collection. In March 2011, West collaborated with M/M Paris for a series of silk scarves featuring artwork from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. On October 1, 2011, Kanye West premiered his women's fashion label, DW Kanye West, at Paris Fashion Week. He received support from D2 duo Dean and Dan Cadden, Olivier Thayskens, Jeremy Scott, Aitzedine Alea, and the Olsen twins, who were also in attendance during his show. His debut fashion show received mixed to negative reviews, ranging from reserved observations by Style.com to excoriating commentary in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the International Herald Tribune, LUK, the Daily Telegraph, Harper's Bazaar, and many others. On March 6, 2012, West premiered a second fashion line at Paris Fashion Week. The line's reception was markedly improved from the previous presentation, with the number of critics heralding West for his much improved sophomore effort. On December 3, 2013, Adidas officially confirmed a new shoe collaboration deal with West. After months of anticipation and rumors, West confirmed the release of the Adidas Yeezy Boosts. In 2015, West unveiled his Yeezy Season clothing line, premiering Season 1 in collaboration with Adidas early in the year. The line received positive critical reviews, with Vogue observing a protective toughness, a body-conscious severity that made the clothes more than a simple accessory. The release of the Yeezy Boosts and the full Adidas collaboration was showcased in New York City on February 12, 2015, with free streaming to 50 cinemas in 13 countries around the world. An initial release of the Adidas Yeezy Boosts was limited to 9,000 pairs to be available only in New York City via the Adidas smartphone app. The Adidas Yeezy Boosts were sold out within 10 minutes. The shoes released worldwide on February 28, 2015, were limited to select boutique stores and the Adidas UK stores. He followed with Season 2 later that year at New York Fashion Week. On February 11, West premiered his Yeezy Season 3 clothing line at Madison Square Garden in conjunction with the previewing of his album The Life of Pablo. In June 2016, Adidas announced a new long-term contract with Kanye West that extended the Yeezy line to a number of stores, planning to sell sports performance products like basketball, football, and soccer. In February 2017, West unveiled the Yeezy Season 5 collection to favorable responses from critics. In May 2017, West, alongside wife Kim Kardashian, launched a clothing line for children titled Kids Supply. A second collection was released in July 2017. In February, West tweeted, "Yeezy is no longer a fashion company we should be referred to as apparel or clothing or simply Yeezy." West's Yeezy shoe line is considered one of the most influential sneaker brands in the world. Tim Mt. West has expressed how West's creative flair for fashion parallels his musical risk-taking. Another source, comparing West to an Orisha, identified how his ability to undertake a multitude of projects has eroded traditional categories for creative output. In January 2018, a series of influencers posed as Kim Kardashian clones on Instagram advertising Yeezy Season 6. This stunt questioned whether West needed or cared to engage with the fashion industry. Whether or not it was a playful ode to his wife or a comment on consumerism through social media. The stunt schemed to upend the top-down nature of the fashion industry. The models ranged from influencers to porn stars to Paris Hilton, all in platinum blonde, wearing Yeezy Season 6. In May 2021, West signed a 10-year deal, linking Yeezy with Gap. The collection is being led by 25-year-old Nigerian-British designer Mawalola Ogunlesi. The first piece from the collection was released in June 2021, a blue, seamless, down jacket, and it was very well received, selling out almost instantly. In September 2022, West announced that he was ending his deal with Gap. According to his lawyer, Nicholas Gravanti, West is considering opening up Yeezy retail stores. Business ventures. West founded the record label and production company Good Music in 2004, in conjunction with Sony BMG, shortly after releasing his debut album, The College Dropout. West, alongside then-unknown Ohio singer John Legend and fellow Chicago rapper Common, were the label's inaugural artists. The label houses artists including West, Big Sean, Pusha T, Tiana Taylor, Yassine Bey/Mos Def, D'Banj, and John Legend, and producers including Hudson Mohawk, Q-Tip, Travis Scott, No ID, Jeff Basker, and S1. Good Music has released 10 albums certified gold or higher by the Recording Industry Association of America. In November 2015, West appointed Pusha T the new president of Good Music. In August 2008, West revealed plans to open 10 Fatburger restaurants in the Chicago area. The first was set to open in September 2008 in Orland Park. The second followed in January 2009, while a third location is yet to be revealed, although the process is being finalized. His company, KW Foods LLC, bought the rights to the chain in Chicago. Ultimately, in 2009, only 2 locations actually opened. In February 2011, West shut down the Fatburger located in Orland Park. Later that year, the remaining Beverly location also was shuttered. On January 5, 2012, West announced his establishment of the creative content company Donda, named after his late mother Donda West. In his announcement, West proclaimed that the company would pick up where Steve Jobs left off. Donda would operate as a design company which will galvanize amazing thinkers in a creative space to bounce their dreams and ideas with the goal to make products and experiences that people want and can afford. West is notoriously secretive about the company's operations, maintaining neither an official website nor a social media presence. In stating Donda's creative philosophy, West articulated the need to put creatives in a room together with like minds in order to simplify and aesthetically improve everything we see, taste, touch, and feel. Contemporary critics have noted the consistent minimalistic aesthetic exhibited throughout Donda creative projects. On March 30, 2015, it was announced that West is a co-owner, with various other music artists, in the music streaming service Tidal. The service specializes in lossless audio and high-definition music videos. Jay-Z acquired the parent company of Tidal, Aspero, in the first quarter of 2015. 16 artist stakeholders including Jay-Z, Rihanna, Beyoncé, Madonna, Chris Martin, Nicki Minaj co-own Tidal, with the majority owning a 3% equity stake. The idea of having an all-artist-owned streaming service was created by those involved to adapt to the increased demand for streaming within the current music industry, and to rival other streaming services such as Spotify, which have been criticized for their low payout of royalties. The challenge is to get everyone to respect music again, to recognize its value, stated Jay-Z on the release of Tidal. On June 6, 2016. West announced the Yeezy Season 2 zine. The Adidas Yeezy Boost 750 sneakers were released to retailers the following week, on June 11. They are high-top shoes with a glow-in-the-dark sole. In an interview with Vogue, he stated that there will be Yeezy stores, with the first located in California. In an interview with Fader in September 2018, West announced that he was considering plans of opening an automobile factory in Chicago with the focus of developing a flying car with the help of Tesla alums. In July 2020, Yeezy LLC was listed in a United States Department of the Treasury log of businesses that received small business loans through the CARES Act. On October 17, 2022, it was announced that West had entered into a purchase agreement to acquire the alt-tech microblogging service, Parler. The deal is expected to close in the fourth quarter of 2022. Philanthropy. West, alongside his mother, founded the Kanye West Foundation in Chicago in 2003, tasked with a mission to battle dropout and illiteracy rates, while partnering with community organizations to provide underprivileged youth access to music education. In 2007, West and the foundation partnered with Strong American Schools as part of their Ed in 08 campaign. As spokesman for the campaign, West appeared in a series of PSAs for the organization, and hosted an inaugural benefit concert in August of that year. In 2008, following the death of West's mother, the foundation was rechristened the Dr. Donda West Foundation. The foundation ceased operations in 2011. Kanye West and friend, Remefest, also founded Donda's House, Inc. Got Bars is the Donda's House signature music/lyric composition and performance program. Participants are selected through an application and audition process. Got Bars is a free music writing program with the goal of helping at-risk Chicago youth. It is aimed at students between 15 and 24, and includes lessons on how to write and record music. Their curriculum is based on the teaching philosophy and pedagogy of Dr. Donda West with a focus on collaborative and experiential learning. West has additionally appeared and participated in many fundraisers, benefit concerts, and has done community work for Hurricane Katrina relief, the Kanye West Foundation, the Millions More Movement, 100 Black Men of America, a Live Earth concert benefit, World Water Day rally in March, Nike runs, a Hurricane Sandy benefit concert, and an MTV special. Helping young Iraq War veterans who struggle through debt and PTSD a second chance after returning home. In January 2019, West donated $10 million towards the completion of the Rodin crater by American artist James Torrell. In June 2020, in the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the following protests, he donated $2 million between the family of Floyd and other victims of police brutality, Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. The donation funded legal fees for Arbery and Taylor's families, as well as establishing a $529 plan to fully cover college tuition for Floyd's daughter. Acting and filmmaking. West made cameo appearances as himself in the films State Property 2 and The Love Guru, and in an episode of the television show Entourage in 2007. West provided the voice for Kanye West, a rapper, in the animated sitcom The Cleveland Show. In 2009, he starred in the Spike Jonze-directed short film We Were Once a Fairytale, playing himself acting belligerently while drunk in a nightclub. West wrote, directed, and starred in the musical short film Runaway, which heavily features music from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The film depicts a relationship between a man, played by West, and a half-woman, half-phoenix creature. In 2012, West wrote and directed another short film, titled Cruel Summer, which premiered at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival in a custom pyramid-shaped screening pavilion featuring 7 screens constructed for the film. The film was inspired by the compilation album of the same name. West made a cameo appearance in the comedy Anchorman 2. The legend continues as a MTV News representative in the film's fight scene. In September 2018, West announced starting a film production company named Half Beast, LLC. In 2022, Kanye made a cameo at the end of McDonald's 30-second TV ad during Super Bowl LVI, an event with over 200 million viewers, which he also publicly attended. Architecture. West expressed interest in starting an architecture firm in May 2013, saying, "I want to do product. I am a product person, not just clothing but water bottle design, architecture. I make music but I shouldn't be limited to one place of creativity." And then later in November 2013, delivering a manifesto on his architectural goals during a visit to Harvard Graduate School of Design. In May 2018, West announced he was starting an architecture firm which will act as an arm of his already successful Yeezy fashion label. West announced the decision on his Twitter account, tweeting, "We're starting a Yeezy architecture arm called Yeezy Home. We're looking for architects and industrial designers who want to make the world better." In June 2018, the first Yeezy Home collaboration was announced by designer Jalil Peraza, teasing an affordable concrete prefabricated home as part of a social housing project. Politics. In September 2012, West donated $1,000 to Barack Obama's re-election campaign, and in August 2015 he donated $2,700 to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. He also donated $15,000 to the Democratic National Committee in October 2014. In September 2015, West announced that he intended to run for President of the United States in 2020. He later implied on Twitter that he intends to run for president in 2024 due to Donald Trump's win in the 2016 elections. West later confirmed this in an interview in September 2018, saying that his main political concern is healthcare in the United States. On December 13, 2016, West met with President-elect Trump. According to West, "I wanted to meet with Trump today to discuss multicultural issues. These issues included bullying, supporting teachers, modernizing curriculums, and violence in Chicago. I feel it is important to have a direct line of communication with our future president if we truly want change. West previously stated he would have voted for Trump had he voted. In February 2017, however, West deleted all his tweets about Trump in purported dislike of the new president's policies, particularly the travel ban. West reiterated his support for Donald Trump in April 2018 in a text to Ebro Darden where he said, "I love Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump." West also posted a picture wearing a Make America Great Again hat alongside a series of tweets defending President Trump. Trump later retweeted several of West's tweets. Following his return to Twitter in April 2018, West tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." Owens, who promotes black conservatism, praised President Trump as the savior of the free world and criticized the Black Lives Matter movement. The tweet was met with controversy among some of West's fans. In May 2018, West said in an interview with radio host Charlamagne Tha God that he had been asked by a friend what makes George Bush any more racist than Trump. This was possibly alluding to his previous controversial condemnation of Bush as not caring about black people. West said, "Racism isn't the deal breaker for me. If that was the case, I wouldn't live in America." During an interview with Fader in September 2018, West said he was visiting Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel to possibly start a school building project. On October 11, 2018, West visited the Oval Office for a meeting with President Trump to discuss a range of issues. He and several other musicians watched Trump sign the Music Modernization Act. His support for Trump led to the creation of a Donda parody by artist Lush Sucks, who painted West with Trump's hair. Later in October 2018, West and his wife visited the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, a noted Trump supporter, who said they held fruitful discussions about promoting tourism and the arts. The same month, West donated $73,540 to progressive Chicago mayoral candidate Amara Inaya. The donation was the exact amount Inaya needed to pay a fine she received for not filing a campaign finance reports during her abbreviated 2015 mayoral run. On October 26, President Trump praised West during his speech at the Young Black Leadership Summit, adding, "I think Kanye may be the most powerful man in all of politics," referring to a story on West's effect on African Americans. Also in the same month, West was reported to have given his support to the Blexit movement, a campaign by Owens to encourage Black Americans to abandon the Democratic Party and register as Republicans. Media reports suggested West had advised on the design of the campaign's logo, and branded merchandise, including T-shirts. However, West denied being the designer and disavowed the effort, tweeting, "My eyes are now wide open and now realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative." In 2019, West reaffirmed his support for Trump. That year, he expressed his opposition to abortion, and condemned those who wish to remove religion from the public square. In an interview with GQ in January 2020, West implied he would be voting for President Trump. Months later, in September, he expressed his support for Armenia during the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, but his fans urged West to actually donate money to the country. 2020 Presidential Campaign. Future political plans. Controversies. General. West's musical career is defined by frequent stylistic shifts and different musical approaches. In the subsequent years since his debut, West has both musically and lyrically taken an increasingly experimental approach to crafting progressive hip-hop music while maintaining accessible pop sensibilities. He has introduced new musical elements and unconventional reference points into his sonic palette with each album. Over time, West has explored a variety of music genres encompassing soul, baroque pop, stadium rock, electro, house music, indie rock, synth pop, progressive rock, industrial, punk and gospel. West's approach to record production is consistently rich, nuanced and thought-provoking. His productions are akin to musical compositions, bearing an ornate style with more depth typical of hip-hop artists while making use of an ear for hooks. He incorporates live instruments, manipulated vocal samples and dramatic arrangements to supplement his beats. His later musical works increasingly relied on the application of digital audio workstations and computerized synths, bass, and drums. West also surveys and analyzes lyrical trends in the continuously evolving landscape of hip-hop culture, often changing his approach to rhyming couplets for his songwriter and delivery. Lyrically, West's wordplay generally contains a proliferation of puns and inventive, multisyllabic rhymes. Both his songwriter and vocal delivery rely on lines laden with transformative and slant rhymes, with West often altering the pronunciation of his words. West admits his rapping ability is not as dexterous as peers Jay-Z, Eminem, and Nas, so he compensates with the subject matter. He elaborates, the songs offer melody and message. That's the main goal. I saw it as a simple math project. If I can rap 70 to 80% as good as the beats are, I'll be successful. West drew influence from mainstream rappers such as Maze and his Roc-A-Fella label mates Jay-Z and Cameron in conjunction with underground hip-hop artists like Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and Dead Prez. Kanye stated that Dead Prez in particular helped him discover a style of making raps with a message sound cool. With his debut album, West managed to strike a balance between smart and savvy rap lyrical themes. As his songwriter injects pop melodies into raw hip-hop beats, West's lyrics find him rapping about substantial issues in addition to amusing topics ranging from Jesus to weight loss in a way that resulted in widespread commercial appeal. They successfully struck a chord with both mainstream hip-hop audience as well as its alternative sector. His rhymes have been described as funny, provocative, and articulate, capable of seamlessly segueing from shrewd commentary to comical braggadocio to introspective sensitivity. West imparts that he's conscious of the circumstances of his surroundings and strives to speak in an inclusive manner so groups from different racial and gender backgrounds can comprehend his lyrics, saying he desired to sound just as ill as Jadakiss and just as understandable as Will Smith. Asked about his early musical inspirations in 2008, he named artists such as A Tribe Called Quest, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, George Michael, LL Cool J, Phil Collins, and Madonna. Regarding the influence of A Tribe Called Quest producer Q-Tip, West stated, Midnight Marauders, Electric Relaxation, Low End Theory. A lot of the melodies and the type of chords they would sample, was what I was going for when I did The College Dropout. When I felt like I was at my highest level was when I was closest to a Tribe record. So, a record like Heard 'Em Say was an accomplishment for me to even have something that was close to what they did. Other musicians West has invoked as general inspirations include David Bowie, Miles Davis, and Gil Scott-Heron. West was formatively mentored by Chicago producer No ID, who introduced him to record production in the early 1990s, allowing a teenage West to sit in on recording sessions. West has cited Wu-Tang Clan producer and leader RZA as a prominent influence on his style. He stated, "Me and my friends talk about this all the time. We think Wu-Tang had one of the biggest impacts as far as a movement. From slang to style of dress, skits, the samples. Similar to the style I use, RZA has been doing that." On his behalf, RZA has responded favorably to comparisons between him and West. He said, "All good. Kanye West, I got super respect for Kanye. He came up to me about a year or two ago. He gave me mad praising and blessings. He had a lot to say about things I did. It's like when I met Isaac Hayes." West's early sound was largely influenced by 1990s hip-hop music, particularly that of the East Coast. Despite hailing from Chicago, West expressed a preference for New York artists, tailoring both his lyricism and fashion sense after rappers such as Raekwon and Nas. He recalled, "I used to love people like Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie, and Nas, people that sold records. I liked Common, OK, you know, since he was from Chicago, but I wanted to dress like Nas." Regarding production, according to No ID, who mentored him from age 14, West made puffy-style poppyish beats. Sharing similar sentiments, West's close friend and collaborator singer-songwriter and musician John Legend once described him as the sing-songy rapper/producer with the overtly pop sensibility. West also claims that he used to make beats reminiscent of Timbaland and DJ Premier. Alongside DJ Premier, the soulful nature of his early production bears an influence of Prince Paul, while the slightly off-kilter drum machine beats he crafted for tracks reflect J Dilla. While speaking on the late producer, West praised Dilla's ability concerning drums. He asserted, "That man was a genius. Whatever he could do to tweak that MPC the way he worked it in a different type of way." West subsequently developed a hip-hop production style driven by melodic and rhythmic hooks derived from samples of classic soul records. He would take cues from the traditional sounds of early 1990s New York City hip-hop, with an emphasis on infectious loop samples and dense drums or percussion, and channel the aesthetic through contemporary record production while polishing it to a pop sheen. Award shows. In 2004, West had his first of a number of public incidents during his attendance at music award events. At the American Music Awards of 2004, West stormed out of the auditorium after losing Best New Artist to country singer Gretchen Wilson. He later commented, "I felt like I was definitely robbed. I was the Best New Artist this year." After the 2006 Grammy nominations were released, West said he would really have a problem if he did not win the Album of the Year, saying, "I don't care what I do, I don't care how much I stunt, you can never take away from the amount of work I put into it. I don't want to hear all of that politically correct stuff." On November 2, 2006, when his Touch the Sky failed to win Best Video at the MTV Europe Music Awards, West went onto the stage as the award was being presented to Justice and Simeon for We Are Your Friends and argued that he should have won the award instead. Hundreds of news outlets worldwide criticized the outburst. On November 7, 2006, West apologized for this outburst publicly during his performance as support act for U2 for their Vertigo concert in Brisbane. He later spoofed the incident on the 33rd season premiere of Saturday Night Live in September 2007. On September 9, 2007, West suggested that his race had something to do with his being overlooked for opening the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards in favor of Britney Spears. He claimed, "Maybe my skin's not right." West lost all 5 awards that he was nominated for, including Best Male Artist and Video of the Year. After the show, he was visibly upset that he had lost at the VMAs 2 years in a row, claiming that he would never return to MTV. West also complained about the venue's stage setup. Only 4 artists performed on the main stage, while other artists, including West, were forced to perform remotely in guest suites at the Palms Casino Resort. West appeared on several radio stations saying that when he made the song Stronger that it was his dream to open the VMAs with it. He has also stated that Spears has not had a hit in a long period of time and that MTV exploited her for ratings. On September 13, 2009, during the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards while Taylor Swift was accepting her award for Best Female Video for You Belong With Me, West went on stage and grabbed the microphone to proclaim that Beyoncé's video for Single Ladies, nominated for the same award, was one of the best videos of all time. He was subsequently removed from the remainder of the show for his actions. When Beyoncé later won the award for Best Video of the Year for Single Ladies, she called Swift up on stage so that she could finish her acceptance speech. West was criticized by various celebrities for the outburst, and by President Barack Obama, who called West a jackass. In addition, West's VMA disruption sparked a large influx of internet photo memes with blogs, forums, and tweets with the "let you finish" photo jokes. He posted a tweet soon after the event where he stated, "Everybody wanna boo me, but I'm a fan of real pop culture. I'm not crazy, y'all, I'm just real." He then posted 2 apologies for the outburst on his personal blog, one on the night of the incident, and the other the following day, when he also apologized during an appearance on The Jay Leno Show. After Swift appeared on The View 2 days after the outburst, partly to discuss the matter, West called her to apologize personally. Swift said she accepted his apology. In September 2010, West wrote a series of apologetic tweets addressed to Swift, including "Beyoncé didn't need that," "MTV didn't need that," and "Taylor and her family, friends and fans definitely didn't want or need that," and concluding with "I'm sorry, Taylor." He also revealed he had written a song for Swift, and if she did not accept the song, he would perform it himself. However, on November 8, 2010, in an interview with a Minnesota radio station, he seemed to recant his past apologies by attempting to describe the act at the 2009 awards show as selfless and downgrade the perception of disrespect it created. On February 8, 2015, at the 57th Annual Grammy Awards, West walked on stage as Beck was accepting his award for Album of the Year and then walked off stage, leaving the audience to think he was joking. After the awards show, West stated in an interview that he was not joking and that Beck needs to respect artistry. He should have given his award to Beyoncé. On February 26, 2015, he publicly apologized to Beck on Twitter. On August 30, 2015, West was presented with the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the MTV Video Music Awards. In his acceptance speech, he stated, "Y'all might be thinking right now, I wonder did he smoke something before he came out here? And the answer is, yes, I rolled up a little something. I knocked the edge off." At the end of his speech, he announced, "I have decided in 2020 to run for president." At the 2016 MTV Video Music Awards, West was given 4 minutes to do whatever he wanted. He chose to debut his new music video for Fade, but first, delivered a speech in which he discussed recent shootings in Chicago, why he included Ray J and Donald Trump in his famous video, the Taylor Swift situation, his love of Beyoncé and Steve Jobs amongst others. Petitions. Music fans have turned to Change.org around the globe to try to block West's participation at various events, including a petition of over 133,000 voters stating a preference for a rock band to headline Glastonbury Festival 2015 instead of West. On July 20, 2015, within 5 days of West's announcement as the headlining artist of the closing ceremonies of the 2015 Pan American Games, Change.org user XYZ collected over 50,000 signatures for West's removal as headliner on the grounds that the headlining artist should be Canadian. In his Pan American Games closing ceremony performance, close to the end of his performance, West closed the show by tossing his faulty microphone in the air and walked off stage. White Lives Matter. On October 3, 2022, during his Yeezy SZN9 fashion show in Paris, West wore a shirt with the script "White Lives Matter," a move described by Forbes as controversial. According to the Anti-Defamation League, the phrase is a white supremacist slogan that was created in response to Black Lives Matter protests against police brutality. Conservative commentator Candace Owens posed for a photo with West wearing a matching shirt with the slogan. Following the event, West posted a story on his Instagram, stating, "Everyone know that Black Lives Matter was a scam, now it's over, you're welcome." Anti-Semitism. 2013. 2022. Parlor acquisition. Loss of sponsorships. Personal life. Relationships and family. Kim Kardashian. Other relationships. Mother's death. On November 10, 2007, West's mother Donda West died at age 58. In January 2008, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office said that the rapper's mother had died of coronary artery disease and multiple post-operative factors from, or as a consequence of, liposuction and mammoplasty. West played his first concert following the funeral at the O2 Arena in London on November 22. He dedicated a performance of Hey Mama, as well as a cover of Journey's Don't Stop Believin', to his mother, and did so on all other dates of his Glow in the Dark tour. California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger subsequently signed the Donda West law, legislation that makes it mandatory for patients to receive medical clearance through a physical examination before undergoing elective cosmetic surgery. Legal issues. In December 2006, Robert Evil Knievel sued the rapper for trademark infringement in West's video for Touch the Sky. Knievel took issue with a sexually charged video in which West takes on the persona of Evil Kanye Evil and attempts flying a rocket over a canyon. The suit claimed infringement on Knievel's trademarked name and likeness. Knievel also claimed that the vulgar and offensive images depicted in the video damaged his reputation. The suit sought monetary damages and an injunction to stop distribution of the video. West's attorneys argued that the music video amounted to satire and therefore was covered under the First Amendment. Just days before his death in November 2007, Knievel amicably settled the suit after being paid a visit from West, saying, "I thought he was a wonderful guy and quite a gentleman." In 2014, after an altercation with a paparazzo at the Los Angeles airport, West was sentenced to serve 2 years probation for a misdemeanor battery conviction, and was required to attend 24 anger management sessions, perform 250 hours of community service, and pay restitution to the photographer. On June 29, 2022, a complaint was filed in U.S. District Court in New York claiming copyright infringement due to unauthorized use of a sample on the song Flowers. The complaint claims that West sampled Marshall Jefferson's 1986 house track Move Your Body without gaining permission or providing compensation. In July 2022, West was sued for $416,000 by the fashion rental company the David Cassavant Archive. The lawsuit claimed that West had failed to make payments on and return 13 rented pieces. Religious beliefs. After the success of his song Jesus Walks from the album The College Dropout, West was questioned on his beliefs and said, "I will say that I'm spiritual. I have accepted Jesus as my Savior. And I will say that I fall short every day." In a 2008 interview with The Fader, West stated that "I'm like a vessel, and God has chosen me to be the voice and the connector." In a 2009 interview with online magazine Bossip, West stated that he believed in God, but at the time felt that he would never go into a religion. In 2014, West referred to himself as a Christian during one of his concerts. In October 2019, West said with respect to his past, "When I was trying to serve multiple gods it drove me crazy," in reference to the god of ego, god of money, god of pride, the god of fame, and that I didn't even know what it meant to be saved, and that now I love Jesus Christ. I love Christianity. In 2019, Jimmy Kimmel asked West if he would consider himself to be a Christian music artist now that he had committed himself fully to Christianity, and he replied, "I'm just a Christian everything." Kim Kardashian described West's Christian born-again experience in September 2019. "Kanye started this to really heal himself, and it was a really personal thing, and it was just friends and family. He has had an amazing evolution of being born again and being saved by Christ." Mental health. In his song FML and his featured verse on Vic Mensa's song You Mad, he refers to using the antidepressant medication Lexapro, and in his song I Feel Like That, which has not been officially released, he mentions feeling many common symptoms of depression and anxiety. These songs had all been recorded during West's recording sessions for his 2016 album The Life of Pablo. On November 19, 2016, before abruptly ending a concert prematurely, he said, "Jay-Z call me, brew. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man." The following day, he was committed to the UCLA Medical Center with hallucinations and paranoia. Contrary to early reports, however, West was not actually taken to the hospital involuntarily, he was persuaded to do so by authorities. While the episode was first described as one of temporary psychosis caused by dehydration and sleep deprivation, West's mental state was abnormal enough for his 21 cancelled concerts to be covered by his insurance policy. He was reportedly paranoid and depressed throughout the hospitalization, but remained formally undiagnosed. Some have speculated that the Paris robbery of his wife may have triggered the paranoia. On November 30, West was released from the hospital. West was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2016, though his diagnosis was not made public until his 2018 album Yet. Months after the album, he told President Donald Trump that it was a misdiagnosis. He reportedly accepted the diagnosis again by 2019. In 2022, he again suggested that it was not the right diagnosis. In a 2018 interview, West declared that he became addicted to opioids when they were prescribed to him after he got liposuction. The addiction may have contributed to his nervous breakdown in 2016. West said that he often has suicidal ideation. Name change. On August 24, 2021, West applied to have his legal name changed from Kanye Omari West to Yet, with no middle or last name. He cited personal reasons for the change. The request was granted on October 18. West had alluded to wishing to change his name since 2018 and had used Yet as a nickname for several years prior. In a June 2018 interview, he said that Yet was the most commonly used word in the Bible. In the Bible it means you. So, I'm you. I'm us. It's us. It went from being Kanye, which means the only one, to just Yet. Legacy. West is among the most critically acclaimed popular music artists of the 21st century, earning praise from music critics, fans, industry peers, and wider cultural figures. John Caramanica of the New York Times said that West has been a bombastic figure who can count ranking 2 presidents among his achievements. Nyson elaborates, he is talented enough that he has made the calculation that you can dislike him and you will still listen to his music. Ed Ledsham from Pop Matters said West's melding of multiple genres into the hip-hop fold is a complex act that challenges the dominant white notions of what constitutes true art music. Rolling Stone called West as interesting and complicated a pop star as the 2000s produced a rapper who mastered, upped, and moved beyond the hip-hop game, a producer who created a signature sound and then abandoned it to his imitators, a flashy, free-spending sybarite with insightful things to say about college, culture, and economics, an egomaniac with more than enough artistic firepower to back it up. AllMusic editor Jason Birchmeier writes of his impact, as his career progressed throughout the early 21st century, West shattered certain stereotypes about rappers, becoming a superstar on his own terms without adapting his appearance, his rhetoric, or his music to fit any one musical mold. Rolling Stone credited West with transforming hip-hop's mainstream, establishing a style of introspective yet glossy rap, while High Snowbeauty said his first 3 albums, a triumvirate of uber-successful records, cemented his role as a progressive rap progenitor. West also has been credited with the commercial decline of the gangsta rap that once dominated mainstream hip-hop. Eric Nielsen, a University of Richmond professor who teaches courses on hip-hop culture, opines that West is a mediocre rapper, but an extraordinary producer. Nielsen states, he will take a concept to an extreme, and flesh it out and explore it in some sort of depth, with a broad, eclectic range of sounds that he draws on that has opened up new possibilities for artists who came after him. In 2013, Julianne Escobedo-Shepherd of Spin described West as fronting a new art-pop era in contemporary music, in which musicians draw widely on the visual arts as a signifier of both extravagant wealth as well as creative exploration. West maintained a preppy fashion sense that helped expand hip-hop's definition of masculinity. Nielsen concedes that West said when he came out that he wasn't a thug. He was the kid who went to school, his mom was a college professor. He definitely challenged some of the authenticity that had to be there at the moment. The outcome of a highly publicized sales competition between rapper 50 Cent's Curtis and West's graduation marked a turning point in the music industry. With its emotive raps and confessional details, the album altered the direction of hip-hop and helped pave the way for new rappers who did not follow the hardcore gangster mold to find wider mainstream acceptance. According to Ben Detrick of XXL magazine, West effectively led a new wave of artists, including Kid Cudi, Whale, Lupe Fiasco, Kids in the Hall, and Drake, who lacked the interest or ability to craft lyrical narratives about gunplay or drug dealing. Rosie Swash of The Guardian deemed the sales competition a historical moment in hip-hop, because it highlighted the diverging facets of hip-hop in the last decade. The former was gangsta rap for the noughties, while West was the thinking man's alternative. Billboard senior editor Alex Gale declared West absolutely one of the best, and you could make the argument for the best artist of the 21st century. Sharing similar sentiments, Complex called West the 21st century's most important artist of any art form, of any genre. The Atlantic writer David Samuels commented, Kanye's power resides in his wild creativity and expressiveness, his mastery of form, and his deep and uncompromising attachment to a self-made aesthetic that he expresses through means that are entirely of the moment: rap music, digital downloads, fashion, Twitter, blogs, live streaming video. Joe Muggs of The Guardian argued that there is nobody else who can sell as many records as West does while remaining so resolutely experimental and capable of stirring things up culturally and politically. Hip-hop artists and groups like Drake, Nicki Minaj, Travis Scott, Lil Uzi Vert, Juice WRLD, Chance the Rapper, Brockhampton, Vic Mensa, and KC Veggies have acknowledged being influenced directly by West. He has also been cited as a direct influence by artists and musical groups outside of hip-hop, including English singer-songwriters Adele and Lily Allen, R&B singer-songwriter Daniel Caesar, New Zealand pop artist Lorde, Spanish singer Rosalía and American electropop singer Halsey. Rock bands including Arctic Monkeys, Kasabian, Management, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and Fall Out Boy have cited West as an influence to their music. Experimental and electronic artists such as James Blake, Daniel Lopatin, and Tim Hecker have also cited West's work as an inspiration. West's success in the fashion industry has led to him being recognized as an influential popular culture figure. A documentary shot over 21 years featuring footage of West's early days in Chicago through the death of his mother to his presidential run was announced to debut in 2021. Titled Genius, it was acquired by Netflix for $30 million. Awards and achievements. West has won a variety of awards. These include a Webby Award for Artist of the Year, an Accessories Council Excellence Award for being a style maker, International Man of the Year at the GQ Awards, a Clio Award for the Life of Pablo album experience, and an honor by the Recording Academy. West is one of 8 acts to have won the Billboard Artist Achievement Award. He has won the Brit Award for Best International Male Solo Artist, a joint record 3 times, in addition to being one of 3 artists to have won the award in consecutive years. In 2011, he became the first artist to win Best Male Hip Hop Artist at the BET Awards 3 times. He is the male artist with the most wins for Video of the Year at the ceremony, and the only person to have been awarded the Visionary Award at the BET Honors. West has received the most nominations for Best Hip Hop Video at the MTV Video Music Awards, along with the second most nominations for Best Male Video. In 2015, he became the 3rd rap act to win the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. West has won 22 Grammys. He has the 2nd most wins and nominations for a rapper. He has been the most nominated act at 5 ceremonies, and won the most Grammys by a male artist, and 4th most overall in the 2000s decade. In 2008, West became the first solo artist to have his first 3 albums receive nominations for Album of the Year. Only Eminem has won Best Rap Album more times than West. Additionally, West and Eminem are the only acts to have won the award in multiple successive years. West has the most wins and nominations for Best Rap Song. West is one of the best-selling digital artists of all time. He is the 7th highest certified artist in the U.S. by digital singles. He had the most RIAA digital song certifications by a male artist in the 2000s, and was the 4th best-selling digital songs artist of the 2000s in the U.S. In Spotify's first 10 years from 2008 to 2018, West was the 6th most streamed artist, and the 4th fastest artist to reach 1 billion streams. West has the joint most consecutive studio album to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Between August 2005 and June 2008, West had the 2 highest first-week album sales in the U.S., and was the only act to sell more than 800,000 in an opening week. Graduation and Watch the Throne, both broke U.S. first-week digital and iTunes album sales. West has the joint 5th most number 1 singles in New Zealand, and the 3rd most number 1 singles on the Hot Rap Songs chart. He has the 3rd most top 10 singles in the UK by a rapper, and the joint 2nd most platinum singles in the UK by a rapper. West is one of 7 acts to have 100-plus Billboard Hot 100 entries. West's albums have received numerous accolades. All of West's first 6 solo studio albums were included on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy being the highest-ranking 21st century album. Entertainment Weekly named The College Dropout the best album of the 2000s decade. Complex named Graduation as the best album released between 2002 and 2012, 808's End Heartbreak was named by Rolling Stone as one of the 40 most groundbreaking albums of all time. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was named by numerous publications as the best album of the 2010s decade and one of the greatest albums of all time. Yeezus was the most critically acclaimed album of 2013, and The Life of Pablo was the first album to top the Billboard 200, go platinum in the US, and go gold in the UK, via streaming alone. West's singles have also obtained adulation and prestige. Heartless was amongst the top 10 best-selling singles worldwide in 2009, Stronger is one of the most downloaded songs of all time on iTunes, and Gold Digger was the 9th biggest Hot 100 song of the 2000s. West is regarded as one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time. He made the most appearance on Complex's Best Producers of Every Year since 1979 list. On Billboard's 2000s decade-end charts, West was 3rd on the list of top producers. West has made more appearances than any other act on The Guardian's The Best Albums of the 21st Century list, having topped the annual Paz and Jop Critic poll the joint most times. In 2009, he became the first non-athlete to have a shoe deal with Nike. In 2014, NME named him the 3rd most influential artist in music. In 2015, West became the second ever rapper to headline Glastonbury Festival. In 2021, Kanye won Best Contemporary Christian Music Album at 2021 Grammys. He was named Songwriter of the Year at the 2021 BMI Trailblazers of Gospel Music Awards. Discography. Studio albums. The College Dropout. Late Registration. Graduation. 808s and Heartbreak. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Jesus. The Life of Pablo. Yet. Jesus is King. Donda. Donda 2 collaborative albums. Watch the Throne. Cruel Summer. Kids See Ghosts. Filmography. The College Dropout Video Anthology. Late Orchestration. VH1 Storytellers. Runaway. Jesus is King. G-News. Tours. Headlining Tours. School Spirit Tour. Touch the Sky Tour. Glow in the Dark Tour. Watch the Throne Tour. The Yeezus Tour. St. Pablo Tour. Supporting Tours. Truth Tour. Vertigo Tour. A Bigger Bang. Books. Raising Kanye, Life Lessons from the Mother of a Hip-Hop Superstar. Thank You and You're Welcome. Through the Wire, Lyrics and Illuminations. Glow in the Dark. See also. Album Era. Black Conservatism in the United States. List of people with bipolar disorder. List of Christian hip-hop artists.